year was 2017. That's when the Most High Yah chose to reveal to me who he is by name. And through further study, I realized this spirit is actually called the Ruach. And this is what the Ruach gave me. Check it. Nah, there's something trying to get in my soul. My brain is cloudy, I'm feeling like I just ain't getting old. It's too late for excuses, made this bed, I'm laying on bruises. Got scrapes and scars, forget that money, jewelry and cars. Take time to think, stay clear of all the clubs and the bars, cause time running out. Before you know, the sky will be open. And then when you look, all you gon' see is mountains of smoking. Yeah, it's true, so trust your instincts. Sometimes you gotta chill, lay back and stop and think, cause these streets ain't playing. Slim then again, they play for keeping. You slip up and lose that grip, you guaranteed to end up sleeping 6 feet deep. You on your back, I hope that bag was packed. It's a long trip. If you ain't right, your butt ain't coming back. It's no second chance, no round two, the buck stops here. You shouldn't have listened when you let the devil spit in your ear. But you did, anyone? He told you shoot, you bust that gun. He said take, so you took. You read your butt just like a book. He said run, you started moving out here cruising for a bruising. Guaranteed to end up losing. If you're choosing not to fight, just let y'all elevate our mind. And then you do what's right, straight up. Yeah, the syrup flow about me. Young knucklehead brother from that D.C. Preserved by Yah through his mercy. And now I'm taking this journey. I got my eyes on eternity. I'm rolling the sea. Yeah, how was shot. The syrup flow about me. This young knucklehead brother from that D.C. Preserved by Yah through his mercy. And now I'm taking this journey. I got my eyes on eternity. I'm rolling in the sea. Yeah, how was shot. I started life off weird. Come to find out from my mom I wasn't supposed to be here. She had an IUD, and just in case you didn't know, when she removed that thing, this little head was supposed to go, but this little soldier held on, and I've been holding ever since on to the truth that has kept me from wholly falling off this fence. He keeps me sane in the midst of nonsense. When my mind starts slipping, bring me back in suggestion to him. His mercy's never ending. Got a story to tell you about this brother from D.C. We're here to rock this world. And yeah, I'm reppin' Elohim, the same one OJB. Big old that soldier that held on, still out here trying to find me, singing that same old boring song. I slipped and dipped when I had to, so coke and weed, and still I'm broke. I drank and smoked like a madman. I smoked until I choked, but now you see it's a joke. And trying to get back got me itching. In my mind I be rumbling, but still I'm ending up with stitches. Gotta get it together, cause like I said, he coming back. It's like no matter the weather, we gotta prepare for an attack. Whether we winning or losing, people, we gotta stop boozing. No more sniffing and choking, no more sticking and poking. The spirit is ready and willing, and we both jangling and chilling, making y'all look like a punk while that punk devil here stealing. We hood proud here to tell you that we're making that move. We going hard with your holler, so just get with the groove. Sermonic flow is what he gave us. Spitting truth is a blessing. Big O, we came hard in this piece to teach the devil a lesson. And straight up, yeah, the syrup flow about me. Young knucklehead brother from the D.C. Preserved by Yah through his mercy. And now I'm taking this journey. I got my eyes on eternity. I'm rolling the sea. Yeah, how was shy. The syrup flow about me. Young knucklehead brother from the D.C. Preserved by Yah through his mercy. Now I'm taking this journey. I got my eyes on eternity. I'm rolling the sea. Yeah, how was shot.
Welcome. This is Real Talk 101, Devil Exposed, here on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. I'm your host today, Mr. Bradley Trammell. It's been a while since I've been in here, maybe 2 weeks or so, I believe. But glad to be back in the studio, most definitely. All praise to the Father, Yahuwah Sabaoth, who is Elohim of heaven and earth. And what we do here on this show from a week-to-week basis is talk about the past week's revelations, readings, prayers, any correspondence that we've had with the Most High and the things that He's revealed to us. Because truly, if any one of us takes time out of any day to pray and to seek the Most High, He will reveal unto you wisdom. He is faithful to do it. His word says that He will do it for all those who are seeking Him in truth and not just for their own gain. So each of us can, on a week-to-week basis, on a daily basis, get information, knowledge, and wisdom from the Most High if we set aside time and we seek Him. But of course, we know there's an enemy at work in the world who desires nothing more that we do not have a relationship with the Most High and do not conversate or communicate with Him at all on a daily basis. That's His job, is to drown us in distractions and maybe the many things that we have going on in our day-to-day lives so that we do not carve out time for the Father. So initially, I want to say that this program also keeps myself and my partner, Mr. Orlando Boyd, accountable to the point to where we must communicate with the Most High at least on a week-to-week basis so that when we come in here, we can disseminate what He has given to us. We thank you for joining us for another day. Orlando is actually out today. I believe he'll be back in next week, but we're going to hold it down anyway with the Ruach because all that's needed is a willing vessel, and that's what I am today. But what I want you to do, this is your first time watching, or maybe you've been watching us for a long time, I always ask, because it bears repeating, that you say a silent prayer within yourself to the Father for discernment, for enlightenment, for wisdom, essentially for the spirit of truth, the Ruach HaKodesh, so that your mind and your eyes and your ears will be open to the message that He has. I can be up here telling you anything. It comes from my mind or that I've read in the Word that may seem a little bit confusing or challenging, but trust me, the only one who can unravel all of the world's mysteries, and especially the Word by which it was inspired, is the Spirit of the Most High Yah, the Ruach HaKodesh, as we call Him, or as what He's traditionally called, the Holy Spirit. So please say a prayer for the indwelling of the Spirit, as I will do the same thing before I begin. We usually start out the show with the prayer requests. We say a word of prayer, go into testimonies, and we go right in. Today's program is entitled Pride Before the Fall. Pride Before the Fall, coming from a famous proverb, which we're going to delve into and cover also. But yeah, as far as prayer requests are concerned, I continually ask for those who watch and support the show to continue to keep myself and Orlando in prayer as we deal with the spiritual onslaught that we incur on a week-to-week basis, just because of the fact that we have decided within ourselves to follow the Most High and to do what He says above all else, and have a loyalty and allegiance to Him, and to trust Him and to fear Him. Most of the world, I would say, does not do that, for they do not know Elohim. For in order for us to know Him, He must draw Himself unto us first, or pull us in first. So we pray always, constantly, and we ask that you do the same thing for enlightenment, for that the Most High show you not only what your purpose is, but what all purpose is and what all truth is. Because when you seek Him in sincerity and truth, you will find Him. Knock and the door shall be open. Seek and you shall find. These are the type of promises that Yahushua HaMashiach, the Son of Elohim, plainly stated in the New Testament. And those words ring true, for nothing He said was said out of vanity or said freelance or just willy-nilly. He stated everything that He heard the Father say. He said that plenty of times. Right now I'm in the book of John, and He was going into great detail, especially in the latter chapters, chapters 18, 19, and 20 in the book of John, how He whatever those who hear Him, whatever they hear from Him, and whenever they see Him do, He was constantly telling people, these are the things that I've seen the Father do. These are the things that the Father has said. And I only show you what He has done and what He has said. So if you have seen me, you've seen the Father. If you know me, then you know the Father. Because I have been sent by the Father to do the will of the Father and to fulfill everything that was inspired prior. So that was essentially His mission, of course, to save humanity. And there was a specific verse I came across. It's just still a little bit of testimony, but there was a a verse. It was in John. I had to look it up right now because I didn't bookmark it, but it stated, he's like, I came in the name of the Father, and I glorified his name when I came in his name. I believe it's right after he finishes the prayer of John chapter 19, where he's praying for all those who are given to him, that the Father would secure them and make sure that they're saved, for he has given him those, the chosen ones. When he was speaking and praying that prayer, not only for his disciples at the time, but for all those that would come behind his disciples that would believe, he was saying, he's like, man, I came by you to glorify your name, and I've shown them your name. I came in your name, and you gave me this name. So when he was speaking about that, it was just, just another evidence that I'm sure we've gone over plenty of times on this program, stating that, the original name of our Hamashiach had to have some form of Yah in his name, because he came in the name of his Father. If Yah's name is just plainly in the simplified form Yah, I know some say Yahuwah, Yahweh, some say Yahweh, but Yah is in there, then the Son who came in that name must possess those first three letters also, which is the reason why we call him Yahusha, Yahweh Shai, Yeshua. Yah is in there, So it was just another interesting tidbit. But like I said, back to the prayer request. Please continue to keep myself in prayer, in prayer, the studio here at U Broadcast Media, the management, all those who are involved, those who are sick and shut in, and the people who are, pray for, I would say, continue to pray for your own discernment and what you can do to be better prepared for the events that are shortly about to come. Because, as we look around, we're only going to be covering one facet of the many troubling things that have been happening in this world over, the past few weeks and months and things like that. But there's so much more stuff that we don't hear about because it doesn't get reported on maybe in our area, but there are tons of trials and tribulations and terrible things occurring. It seems like more and more each day, and we become more and more desensitized by it as we see it, because it's like, man, we just come to the realization that the world is just effed up, and truly it is in a sorrowful state, and it's only going to get worse, unfortunately, according to what my word says. Not because we want it to, just because sin must run its course before it is eventually stamped out completely, never more to be seen or heard from again. I can't wait for that day. But Mitch, keep us in prayer. Keep our families in prayer. Nothing specific comes to mind right now. I'm thankful that my sisters, are doing all right, Jen and Ruth, and I pray for the rest of the Bible study crew that we have. Continue to pray for Angie, for Demetrius, for Candace, for O, of course, and for all the brothers and sisters who have a sincerity in their heart and they believe what the truth is, but yet, they're struggling because of the many things that they must endure until the time of Yasharal's liberation comes, which we strongly believe will happen here. I know it may be a controversial topic, but the way the scripture reads and how the Most High, how he's worked before in the past, we can be assured that he will do the same thing and greater things, again, coming in these in these latter days, in these last days. So yeah, keep that in prayer. Trying to think if there's any other prayer requests. Nothing is coming to my mind right now, but if something does, we'll pray again at the end. And also, any prayer requests you have, silent prayer requests for myself or for all those involved that I mentioned prior, of course, because we all got stuff, man. Ain't none of us perfect. Ain't none of us made it there just yet, man. We all trying to go and get through the same straight, narrow gate. That's what we trying to do. That's the goal, not to enter in through the wide gate where everybody will congregate and go through, because that leads into destruction, but entering into the narrow and straight gate so that we might obtain eternal life. And that's what we're doing. So let's go ahead and say a word of prayer, and we're just going to get into it. Lord Yahuwah, glory to your name, praise to your name, honor to your name, forever and ever and ever and ever. Holy are you, divine are you, long-suffering and patient and merciful and blessed are you. What is man that you are mindful of him? As I sit again in this seat, I ask that you would cover me with your mercy and your grace and your righteousness, and allow your Ruach HaKodesh to come down and possess this faulty vessel one more time, which you and you alone are only able to use unto perfection. You've heard the prayer requests, and you know much more. Do you know the prayer requests that have been both mentioned and not mentioned from all those watching who may not even watch today, but a couple days from now, weeks, months, or maybe even years from now, and the prayer requests that they have on during those times, because you sit outside of time. You are not constrained by the boundaries of time. There is no clock for you. You supersede the clock. So at any given point in time, your mercy and your forgiveness can fall down upon each and every one of us just based off this request alone. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that Ruach, that spirit which knows you and has the mind of you, so that even when I am doing my best to iterate the things that we all want, that we all need, especially to get closer to you, your spirit knows that much more and is able to utter with grumblings that we can't even fathom unto you the true things that we need. And I thank you for that. For you know all, Father. You are all powerful. As I was driving around in the storm last night, man, I was marveling even at the thunder and the lightning, because you were in control of all that. Man doesn't control that. You do. And just small witnesses and glimpses of your power and of your majesty we see throughout all of nature, in the good days or the bad, whether storm or sunshine or wind or rain, doesn't matter. Father, we can see you through it all, and we thank you for that. I ask that you would be with me and give me the words to say regarding this topic. For surely, beyond anybody else, you know. Continue to be with this studio, those who manage it, those who work here, those who come in and out to do their various programmings. Ask that they obtain a blessing of forgiveness and grace upon whatever endeavors that they have going on. And ask that you continue to keep us and guide us until your return, and stabilize us and signify us and sanctify us in your truth, Father, and for your name, honor, and glory, and in the name of your Son, most importantly, Yahushua HaMashiach, I pray this prayer. Amen. So, this week, just going into it, I had the thought to give this program the title of Pride Cometh Before a Fall. It came to me as I'm a federal employee. How long I'll be one, I'm not sure. But I know that during certain portions of the year, depending on what time, like for instance, February, Black History Month, they sent out to department-wide just messages or just trivia questions. Now, I don't even know if there was a prize or anything like that, but they do these trivia questions or something towards highlighting the holiday of the time or whatever is being observed at the time, whether it be for Labor Day, Memorial Day, Christmas, Easter, that type of thing, Black History Month. If there's a holiday or something, 4th of July, I'm sure this coming week they'll be sending out stuff regarding that. They always send out, messages or something to the entire DOE community, which pretty much shows that they are observing whatever the said national holiday or observance day is at the time. And they did last month send out so many trivia questions and emails regarding gay pride. And when I saw that, I'm like, and usually, within the federal space and the entity, it's taboo, or it's not really talked about to speak about one's political affiliations, religious affiliations, social affiliations. You just don't bring that to the workspace. We're there to get a job done. So talking about these things can and sometimes do make people feel ostracized and this, that, and the third. And we have a whole HR department and section for those types of things for, if anything comes up, you make claims and stuff like that. So what they do is they try to put in place the environment to where those topics are not talked about, to eliminate the possibility of any incidents, because people have disagreements based on their background, their makeup, what it is. But when this gay pride came around, they were sending out gay trivia. And, I'm a heterosexual male, and I know there were many more that, work for the department, and I'm sure females as well, who probably could not care less about that type of thing. But in my mind, having the knowledge that I have about the Most High and having the wisdom that He has shown me, through the studying of past empires, those who ruled, those who were in power, and how all those society, when they were detached or had no affiliation with the one true Yah, the Elohim of all that is, how they just kept sliding down into a pit of debasement, a pit of perversity, and ultimately a pit of wickedness. And that was always categorized by, several malevolent traits within the people, within the leadership. And the first one that was always there was pride. I think about, as I'm thinking about it, I actually want to look it up if I can. The king of Tyre. The king of Tyre is I believe it's in Psalms or Proverbs. Let me look it up real quick. Maybe it's Ezekiel. Am I right? It's a proverb talking about how far the king of Tyre has fallen. And it's mentioned in the word. Hold on, I'm looking for it right now. I believe it's it's Ezekiel 28. I think that's correct. Let's see if that's correct. We'll look for it right now, man. It's not like flipping through the word. Ezekiel. So if you got your words with you, turn to Ezekiel 28. I believe I'm going in the right direction. Since it's on my mind, I'm going to read it because this is how the Spirit does. Ezekiel 28. Yeah, I thought I had it highlighted, but listen to these words. This is categorizing or speaking about the enemy of all flesh, Satan, but it's done in the form of a lamentation regarding the king of Tyre. In this word, in the original language, or more original language, it's Sor, Tsor. I think that's how you say it, Sor. So it's not Tyre and Sidon, but it's Sor. And it says in Ezekiel 28, starting at verse 12, son of Adam, of course he's speaking to Ezekiel, take up a lamentation upon the king of Zor, and say to him, thus says Adonai Yahuwah, you seal up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. This is what Lucifer signified. He was full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You have been in Eden, the garden of Elohim. Every precious stone was your covering, the sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of your tabrets. I gotta look what tabrets are. I think I don't know. With tabrets, Tabrets. I'll look it up momentarily. And of your pipes was prepared in you in the day that you were created. The ability to make music, the tabrets and the pipes. So I'm thinking the tabrets have to do something with creating sound, of course. Verse 14, you are the anointed cherub that covers. This is what Lucifer was. He was a covering cherub. He was the first created, according to 2nd Enoch and according to Jasher as well. And I have set you so. You were upon the holy mountain of Elohim. You have walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. You were perfect in your ways from the day that you were created till iniquity was found in you. Till it was found in you. So it wasn't there at first, but iniquity was eventually found. Why is that? Verse 16, by the multitude of your merchandise, they have filled the midst of you with violence, and you have sinned. Therefore, will I cast you as profane out of the mountain of Elohim, and I will destroy you, O covering cherub from the midst of the stones of fire. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. Your heart was lifted up. Haughtiness. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You have corrupted your wisdom by reason of your brightness. I will cast you to the ground. I will lay you before kings, that they may behold you. You have defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of your iniquities, by the iniquity of your traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of you. It shall devour you, and I will bring you to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold you. All they that know you among the people shall be astonished at you. You shall be a terror, and never shall you be any more. Now, when I was reading that, like the first couple times earlier, I'm thinking, the king of Tyre shared some similarities with with Lucifer. But as you can see in the descriptions of what was being said, this was the word of Yahuwah that was coming into the prophets, that you were covered with every precious stone. And he mentioned gold last. You know, a lot of people, we consider gold to be the most precious metal. But he was naming all the emeralds and all the stones and all the jewels and gems prior to that were covering him. And he said, your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You see a lot of people today who, have an obsession, a narcissistic obsession almost, of taking pictures of themselves and admiring themselves after they have, done themselves up and put on whatever and done whatever, both men and women. And there's nothing wrong with beholding how you look if you make yourself look better, but to idolize yourself, to take hold and become addicted to that, it's going to cause your heart to be lifted up. Like you think more highly of yourself than maybe you ought to. And unfortunately, what arises out of that is pride or vanity. Usually, it's funny because when I consider pride and vanity, it's like pride is something more so that's associated with the men, and vanity is something that's more so associated with females. But pride is still the great godfather, the grandfather of all of them, and it resonates from that. So, I'm thinking about this, and it said, because of the multitude of your iniquities, and by the iniquity of your traffic, the things, the business, the commerce, because I've read this same chapter in another version, the KJV, and it said, because of your trading. That was another way it was mentioned. The ability to obtain based on what you have, to trade for goods. So the wealth, with everything that you amass. And what do we know about the wealthy? There's a high probability, a high chance that the more wealth you have and the better, more resources that you have and you obtain, the more powerful you become. And the more powerful you become, if you are not rooted in the Father, if you are not rooted in Yahuwah, when you have these possessions, you think that you gain them by your own power, that you don't need anything else because you're becoming self-sustaining. So whenever you start to, move in that direction away from the Most High and start to rely more and more on yourself, your pride just elevates and rises. It's like a mathematical equation. That's what happens if you are not rooted and grounded in Him, because He provides. And He can cause those who are, poor to become wealthy, and then vice versa. He can do all that because He is the Elohim of everything, which is the reason why it's important for us, and the Bible even states it also, that we should be content with whatever we have. To be content, for Yah giveth and Yah taketh away. Of course, the story of Job is self-explanatory for those that are familiar with his story. He had a lot. The Most High, without Job's approval or foreknowledge, took it all away. And then after Job went through it for a certain amount of time, so that a lesson can be learned, and more important, a story could be told for the rest of us down thousands of generations after that could benefit from it. That's the true reason why he went through what he went through. After he went through that, the Most High restored everything to him more than what he had before. So, it's nothing for the Most High, but you see where the role of pride and humility take place. Let's go to Proverbs 6. I think I already have a bookmark. Proverbs 6, verses 16 through, I think it's 18. Where's Proverbs? Did I miss it already? There it is. I did have a bookmark. So Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16. And the reason why I'm going here is because within this chapter, I'm going to just read it, but you're going to hear the things that Yah hates. It's cut and dry. Think about what you hate. What are some things you hate? I hate, what do I hate? I don't hate too much, man. What is something that I hate? I hate being cut off in traffic. But that's just me, man, because I got problems. I've talked about it many times. I got issues behind the wheel when it's just me by myself. When I'm with other people, I'm a little bit more calm. But when it's me, I'm always in a rush. It's just my issues that the Most High be working on me on. And I've been doing better. All praise to His name. But you think about the things that you hate. Think about foods that you hate. It's like, what will you not eat? Hate means you despise. This thing comes to your mind, and you think about it, and you just, Just gives you a negative vibe, negative feeling all over. You know what I'm saying? You will not stand for it. You abhor it. You will not suffer it. You hate it. Hate is a strong word, you know? Hateful. And as I read this verse, it says that Yah hates these things. Now, we know Yah hates sin, first and foremost, which is the transgression of his law. But it is itemized into 6 different things, yea, 7, in this verse, which I'm about to read. So I'm going to start at 15. It says, no, actually 16. These 6 things Yahuwah hates, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. So 6 things he hates, but then it says, yea, hold up, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look. That's the first thing. What is a proud look? And I know we've seen it. You know, I definitely know we've seen it. As I remember seeing movies regarding, you know, about slavery, you know, several. You can just pick one out of a hat, as many as we've had made. That kind of like slave porn to me, you know, just get us up in arms, get us upset when you look at those types of movies, man. But in those types of movies, you definitely, if nothing else, have seen a prideful look of those who were not enslaved, but enslaved others. I'm going to just say it like that, you know. Prideful looks, you think about those who have great amounts of wealth, and that poor people don't. And you think how they carry themselves whenever they've been seen or, you know, been around those who are less fortunate. You may have seen prideful looks then. Not saying if they definitely occurred or they definitely did not occur, but think about a prideful look, a haughty look, maybe an uplifting of the chin or of the nose, or looking down, a look of condescension. This thing says he hates a prideful look. So not even the fact that you're prideful, but if you look like you're prideful. Let me think about it time for myself, man, because I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and point the finger at everybody else, because all of us are jacked up, man. But I remember there was a time when I think I was out on a date. Can't even remember who I was with. But, that's exactly what happened. And this young lady, when we were walking around, there was a person who was in the same area. We was in the city, and they came around, they was asking for money. And the female that I was with saw them from a distance and was already, while they were approaching, even before they made eye contact, was just shaking her head like, no, we don't have anything. We don't have, like, already putting out the vibe. It's like, we're not going to help you. And we're trying to enjoy ourselves, and we don't need you coming around begging, making us feel bad for not giving you anything when we truly don't have nothing to give you. But there was, when I remember the folks that this person talked to right before they talked to us, it was a Caucasian male, and I think he was with his wife or something. Somebody was a female he was with, and the way he shooed off this person before they came to us asking for money, it was just the most arrogant thing I had seen. I was just, even when I looked at it, I was like, that's a shame. Because if the roles were reversed and switched, how would you feel about that? And essentially, a prideful look is generated from that thought. It's like, well, I myself look down upon you. I place more value on myself than I do for you. I'm trying to get to like the root of it, the thought of it. Now, you guys know I'm searching for words, but I want you to ruminate on this with me. Let the Holy Spirit pour into you some wisdom and really think about the root of pride. And then not only that, but think about instances in your life where you have been prideful and you may have just acted prideful or even shown a look, if you can remember. I mean, how often do we even remember that we've shown a prideful look toward any of our brothers or sisters who may be destitute, who may be struggling in any situation? Could be family. I know there's family, not everybody's family is, doing 100% well. Members of our family are doing well. Some are not. And I've seen a lot of conflicts even within my own family that seem to be based on pride. I'm not going to go into them or delve them because that's family business, but I've seen it. So pride really ain't got no cut corners, man. It really doesn't like to hide. It comes out. It's in all of us. The ability to be prideful and arrogant and vain is in all of us. And why is that? It's because of the virus of sin. We chose or should I say, our parents chose to eat of the tree of knowledge and good and evil, they obtained the knowledge that Yah had. So in their minds, like, okay, just as the devil said, we gonna be like gods. What do we need him for? And since that schism, we were supposed to be dependent on him, learning from him, loving it from him, and everything would have been tranquil and peaceful forever and ever and ever. We had everything we needed. But when we chose to say, nah, we're going to do this ourselves, then the enemy, the one who tempted us, our very first parents, to do so, he became the ruler because his law was followed. Don't listen to Yah. Do as thou wilt, which is still prevalent today. Let's continue. After a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, that's 3. A heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that are swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaks lies, and he that sows discord among the brethren. Those are the 7 things. A lying tongue and a false witness that speaks lies seem to almost be synonymous, but therein is 2 things. He doesn't like lying, doesn't like pride, doesn't like wicked imaginations of the heart, shedding innocent blood, killing people for no reason, those have done nothing to you, and then sowing discord amongst the brethren, causing men to beef with one another, causing women to beef with one another, gossipy, backbiting. And you can lie in that and mix that whole up and cause people to, have problems with one another. But as I thought about, the topic for today, I remembered that when Noah got on the boat, the times at that point, the 150 years that he was preaching prior to the time he stepped on the boat, the world was in such a horrible state. The thoughts of men were wicked and evil continually. Violence and bloodshed was increased upon the earth. Perversity and wickedness and lewdness of every sort was rampant. And Yah said, bump all this. He said that he was sorrowful and remorseful that he had even created man because of how far that they had fallen. So he put the whole world in a washing machine. Caused it to rain for 40 days and 40 nights. He saved 8 people. And then they got off the boat. And when they got off the boat, he set something in the sky that is still evident and visible today when water and light collide with one another in the air. And it's called a rainbow. It's flipping amazing to see because when you do see an actual rainbow, like for instance, I was watering my lawn about a couple of days ago. And of course I had my sprinkler on, and as I'm doing my sprinkling, the sun is out, it's like 91 degrees. And of course I catch the rainbow in the sprinkler, in the little sprinkler gun that I got that's coming from the hose. And as I'm sprinkling the water, I'm just looking at the rainbow, how it sits still. It's almost like it's just there in place. And really what it is the water droplets catching the angle of the light from the sun. And it just makes it just sit there. Just a perfect bow. It curves and you see the colors. It goes from violet to blue to green to yellow to orange to red. All those colors right there, same format, and they don't move. They just set beautifully. And the Most High said, not me, I didn't create it. He created it. He created it to be a promise to show that he would never destroy the world again via water. Now I'm going to say this. I have not been commanded to hate anyone. It's what the Most High hates. Is what I'm reading to you today. But I'd imagine that the wickedness that the Most High destroyed, the people, he doesn't take cheer and joy in destroying the wicked. He says that himself in the word. He ain't got no pleasure in destroying people. He wants people to repent and come into a knowledge of him and obtain salvation. That's what he wants. That's why the Son was sent. That's why the verses say he was sent into the world that the world might be saved. Not the world would be, because that'd be a hard promise. That means and that's kind of the way we look at it. He came, he died, so we all good. We can do whatever we want. It said might be saved. You got to pay attention to the words in these verses, man, and understand them. But when I'm reading that and I see a group of people who have chosen an alternative lifestyle, which is I'm going to go ahead and say it, it's unnatural, but it wells up within them to be a certain type of way that by and large, it's been going on for decades, been going on for since I'm thinking since as long as the world began, because, you know, we got stories of all the way back at Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah is like the first and the biggest example of the Bible of how, quote unquote, God hates gay people. You know what I'm saying? We go back to Sodom and we see what happened outside of Lot's doors when the two angels came to town, and the men, it said specifically that the men, young and old, I'm talking about teenagers and boys, all came to the door to know personally. And they tried to sugarcoat it or use, you know what I'm saying, words that wouldn't be too offensive, that they would want to know those men who were actually angels who came into Lot's crib. And Lot sent his own daughter out there and says, man, have your way with her, but leave these men alone. They was like, nah, we ain't having that. We want them, that we might know them carnally. Sodomy. I mean, you in Sodom has got to earn this title. When that happened, it's like we ain't reached that yet. In certain areas of the world, I'm sure we have, because I've read reports, but it's like you got gangs of men walking around looking to rape other men. Serious. And by this time, these angels were sent to destroy the entirety of Sodom and Gomorrah and the 3 other cities of the plain. We usually just say Sodom and Gomorrah, but I want you to know that in this area, there were 5 cities. And actually, when you do a little bit of research, I wish, you know what? I'm going to see if I can find the other cities' names in here, but that's probably going to take some time. That's in Yasher. I probably should have looked that up previously. But look up the 5 cities of the plain. Google that. So Sodom and Gomorrah are 2. You only got 3 more to find. And if you, by chance, are able to search and find a map, they were all set up in a specific formation where you can draw a pentagram, like between the 5 points of the city. Point here, point there. You could draw that upside down star for the pentagram draws. When I saw that and I found it, I was like, man, it's no coincidence, I'm guessing. But, you know, that's just a, you know, side fact or a side tidbit that I found out when I was researching it. But these cities were so full of wickedness. And a lot of us, or a lot of what has been told, especially from church pulpits, at least when I was growing up, he used to say that that's why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, because of the homosexuality and the sodomy and the women with women and the men with men. That's why they were destroyed. When entirely, honestly, that was a byproduct of their wickedness. Like the homosexuality and the degree and the height and how aggressive they were with it, that was a byproduct, but that wasn't the root. The root was pride. It truly was. If you go back, I'll tell you what to read. If you want to prove me wrong or see if I'm lying or whatever, go read the book of Jasher. The book of Jasher, chapter 18 and 19. Write that down. Jasher, chapter 18 and 19. You'll get the whole story, and you'll get other examples of how wicked and corrupt and prideful these people were. They had sick traditions, to the point when the story got around to what they would do to guests who entered into their gates, that people just stopped coming through. And the problem was Sodom itself was a gateway city. So when you passed through Sodom to get to the other side, you were in a whole nother, I ain't gonna say hemisphere, but a portion of land or geography that you couldn't, that if you did not pass through, you would have to traverse to get there, you know, by some other hardship, like maybe through the mountains, I believe, because this is a city of the plain. You know what I'm saying? So it was very difficult to reach the other side of Sodom without going through it. So they had travelers. They had people who went through to do business and then, you know, go back to, you know, their farm life or living outside of the city. And their wickedness is documented, like I said, in the book of Jasher, chapters 18 and 19. But the other thing I want to do is I want to go to Romans, chapter 1. Romans, chapter 1. There we go. Romans, chapter 1. And how far am I going to go into this? I'm trying to see where exactly to start. Verse 18. We're going to start at verse 18 of Romans chapter 1 and probably take it through 28. So here we go. For the wrath of Elohim is revealed from heaven against all wickedness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which may be known of Elohim is manifest in them, for Elohim has showed it unto them. For from the creation of the world, the invisible things of Yah are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and divinity, so that they are without excuse. Let me give you an example of that, because they may be a little bit confusing. The sun. We know when we come of age that the sun was not put there in the sky by any man. Neither was the moon. Clouds, stars, the things of the atmosphere, the great, great bodies of sea, the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean and all the waters that are surrounding about, the mountains. Man didn't do that. Man didn't set none of that up. The diversity of the creatures that are upon the earth. The different species that lives in different parts of the earth. Man didn't generate or create those all either. Now, of course, science is going to come at you with the whole Big Bang explosion and the randomness of the random that. And that's how everything came to be. But that's so lazy to me. And it's so ignorant. Because everything is just what exploded and came. I don't even want to dive into it. It's so stupid. It doesn't even bear, value to even think about or ruminate on. It just doesn't make any sense to me, because I believe in the Most High. Verse 21, because that when they knew Elohim, they glorified him not as Elohim, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations. What do we say about the imaginations, the wicked imaginations of their heart? One of the things that the Most High hates. And their foolish heart was darkened. Foolish heart darkened. When you have knowledge of the Elohim in your heart and wisdom from him, that's light. But when you have vain imaginations and you remove yourself from the observance and the consideration and the value of Elohim, then you become darkened. Why is that the case? It's the case because of the fact that Elohim created all of us. And it bears importance for you to have knowledge of your creator and the creator of all things. When you turn away from that fact and from that wisdom and knowledge, your heart and mind become darkened because you're going in a direction that has no light, because it's not built on fact, on truth, or of any substance. But your vain imagination causes you to have a thought that you will not accept any argument against, making it vain and prideful. So these are the things that are happening. Verse 23, and changed the glory of the incorruptible Elohim into an image made like corruptible man, into birds, into four-footed beasts and creeping things, idols. Whenever in the past man had an issue to where he carved, cut down, or made from stone an image of something that was created, whether it be man, animal, four-footed beast, that's exactly what this thing, and then giving it homage and worship that belongs to Elohim. That's what this thing is saying. You change the glory, which comes from the incorruptible Elohim, and you're giving it to something else that should have no glory at all. 24. Wherefore Elohim has also given them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Let me give you the weight of this verse. The fact that it says he gave them up, that means if he's keeping you, then ultimately you cannot confirm and rest within your own self on a vain thought or imagination. Because he's keeping you from that. It's like, no, man, you have wisdom. It goes against your grain. Your vain thought or your imagination will be challenged and make it difficult for you to settle on that. But when he gives you up to unclean, that means you ain't going to get no argument. You think this is what it is? This is what you want to do? You want to worship that? You think that thing, that idol, whatever it is going to bless you? You think that all your providence, all your resources comes from that? Go ahead. I give you up to it. It said from the lusts of their own hearts to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of Elohim into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Again, attesting to idolatry. For this cause, Elohim gave them up unto vile affections. What does vile mean? I wish I had O's dictionary here. Let's see. Define vile. Extremely unpleasant is what pops up at the beginning. Extremely unpleasant, morally bad or wicked, of little worth or value. That's the archaic definition. But that's what vile means. Extremely unpleasant. So for this cause, Elohim gave them up unto extremely unpleasant affections. For even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature. Natural use. What is the natural use for? There, you can do a lot of exploration right there. Natural use. Women are the only species, or the only beings that can birth. That we all got to. Everybody. I remember Dave Chappelle said this on one of his stand-ups. Everybody walking around the planet today had to pass through a woman's legs to come into this world. Everybody. If you are alive and you are breathing and you are a human, you had to pass through a woman's legs for it to happen. So that is one of the primary uses for a woman. I ain't gonna say use like you use them and throw them away, but a woman can do that and a man cannot. In 27, and likewise also. All right, so this is what gives you, this next verse gives you a little bit more information about the previous, because it says, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman to have procreation, to have actual normal heterosexual sex with, and to procreate with, they left that and then burned in their lust towards one another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. What is the recompense of their error? Pride, vanity, and selfishness. These evidences of the recompense that was meet, only to push forward more heartily in those directions, to be more prideful, more arrogant, more dominating. Seared over consciousness. And based on the fact that this verse says likewise, and it was just speaking about before how the women did change natural use unto that which is against nature, it was women with women. Because it's identified in saying men with men in the very next verse. Two women cannot procreate. Two men cannot procreate. It has to be a man and a woman. This is a fact. And now, hold on, let me finish this before I get in that, because it's starting to kick in. Verse 28, and even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient. They're not convenient. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of Elohim, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers. You don't keep what you say. Without natural affection. I don't care about you. I don't care about nothing. Implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Elohim, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only to do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Meaning, if you do all these wicked things with me, I have pleasure in doing them, and I see you have pleasure in doing them. We can come together and have pleasure in doing them together. And when I read this portion out of Romans, I think about the images that I saw a lot through the month of June. Were those at pride parades and everything. The signs that were had up, you know, I seen somebody put up a sign saying, I don't give a F about what your Bible says. Well, clearly you don't. Clearly. Because if you have no value or no regard for the word or for the scriptures, and you just finished reading what happens when man or woman has no regard for Elohim, give you up. And then this is what you become. So you see evidence of that. But then not only that, I look at the movement, LGBTQRS, whatever you want to say. And again, it's something Chappelle, because I know Chappelle has been dealing with it, recently, because the backlash he's been getting from his shows when he was talking about the LGBTQ community. He was saying he ain't got no problem with them. They just don't listen, what he says. He ain't got no problem with the people. But he did look at their movement and was like, man, how are you guys so successful? I've been black all my life. And we've been having movements all my life, even before I was here. But we have gained no ground, hardly any ground, if any. We have nothing beneficial that has been made into law. And we have made little to no progression at all that we can stand on, even when we had a black president. He gave more rights to that community than to us. And I think about that, and I'm just like, well, me with the knowledge that I have, I know it's part of the curse. We're not going to make any progress. We're not going to make any monumental changes that are going to allow us to be more comfortable and not live underneath the curses of Deuteronomy 28. When Yah curses you, man can't change that. He has to remove that. And we're a few years removed off of it, but we're still underneath the banner of those who are over us in a large degree. I mean, look at the police brutality and violence that we see portrayed almost month to month. Sometimes they ramp it up, have it week to week, day to day, to have everybody on an emotional roller coaster and feel some type of way. It's manipulation. And because this stuff happens all the time. But when does it get reported on so that we all are conscientious of it and see it? And then when it happens, how do we act? Because right now, I'm sure we're desensitized to it. Oh, another black man got pulled out of his car and beaten and shot and killed. Don't look at it like it's nothing. We look at it like it's nothing, should I say. But the thing that seems to be happening now, it's been happening, I ain't gonna say just like right now, but like for the past couple of years, is that when you say or do anything, actually it's more so say, it's not even just do, is if when you say anything that offends somebody of this community, you are censored. Now, it usually happens to people who have a platform to which, they speak and they have other listeners. Then people, start pulling away from them when they say these types of things. Or there's an effort made to silence or to drown out or to bring you to ruin, to castigate or to disparage or to bring down your reputation. Like there's an effort against you when you say something that offends. How many bad things have been said about you? Think about it. Those who are watching. Whether it was true or false, just somebody gossiped and said something about you. Was there a movement that you made to get them shut down? Or you may have had some type of revenge or some type of retaliation, but was it so critical that this had to happen because nobody should be able to speak about this or nobody should be able to say anything because it hurts feelings? It doesn't make me feel comfortable. And I look at that argument and I'm like, who are you? That your thought process or your feelings are more important than another group of people. Everything is, we're offended by the easiest things right now. And the base of that, which I'm getting to, is pride. Don't you better not say nothing about me. Why? Because I am what I am. And I deserve to be how I am. And you better not say nothing that makes me feel otherwise. Why? Where does that feeling come from? And how? And I'm sure everybody's had that feeling in one way or another. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe not in that, like in your social preference, but in some other aspect, you're like, you say what? I don't like Brussels sprouts. Somebody said, well, you say everybody that don't like Brussels sprouts sucks. So now there can be laws passed. I could be censored and fined for saying that people who don't like Brussels sprouts suck. Like, what are we doing here? And you look at the root of that, and I'm like, young, how prideful and arrogant must you be to think that there has to be something in place for you to be made right or you to get restitution for somebody that made you feel this type of way? And why is that being so successful? And then you read these scriptures. Vain, prideful imaginations ways of thinking swelling up within the person who harbors them to the point to where it's like, no, you better not say nothing against me, because I'm going to do this, that, and it's not even a crime or anything. You just tell them what the truth is. I've definitely dealt with it. Saying things that are true just because they're facts. That doesn't mean I like them. I'm in the same boat as you. Some of the things that are true go against my grain because I ain't perfect. I've seen myself defined in some of the things that I know the Most High don't like as well. And I look at that. But instead of having the mindset of like, well, nah, well, I am just what I am. I was made that way. Oh, well, I ain't gonna do nothing. My mindset is, nah, I fear Yahuwah because he made me, and I believe that. He created all that I see, hear, touch, taste, and smell, including my 5 senses, and I believe that. He gave me this word, which I can run to when I'm confused about life, and it helps me answer life's problems with the help of his Holy Spirit to give me understanding, and I believe that. It puts me in a humble mindset because it's actually a load off my plate. I ain't got to figure everything out. I ain't got to worry about being responsible for every daggone thing. I know that he got me, and I rely upon him. Thus conforming to the original way that this thing was supposed to work out anyway. Because of the Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, who people have learned through the ages to call Jesus Christ, the Messiah. Because of what the Son of Elohim did, because of what his mission was, to redeem and to save that which was lost. Because of that, I'm thankful. Because now my connection is restored with the Father through the Son. And all that foolishness that I can't conquer and do by myself, I don't look at it and say, well, no, I'm just going to figure this out until I get it right and I don't need no help. That's pride. I was like, nah, man, I need help. It's a well-known fact that those back in the day who left the church, when they were tried, when members and maybe deacons and elders went back to them and tried to get them back into the congregation, it was, it's a well-heard thing, a well-versed statement when people say, I'm going to get myself together and then I'm going to come back. That's a prideful, that's like an ignorantly prideful statement. I'm going to get myself together and then come back to Yah. What do you need him for if you can get yourself together? And only through trial, multiple trial, and multiple error do you figure that out, because that's what failure is for. Failure is to put you in a humble position so you can seek the one that never fails. But everybody's situation is different. A lot of people have suffered a lot more things that we can't imagine. A lot of people were molested from very young ages, altering their mindset and their mental chemistry to the point to where they feel certain types of things around types of genders based on something that was done to them at such a young age, in which they didn't even understand. There are a lot of people who deal with that. So like I said again, I have no condemnation. I just tell you what the Father said and allow you to know that even me, we don't all sin the same. All of our iniquities are not the same. There's grace in my life for certain things that I've overcome. And when I go back to them, even at the thought of going back to them, I know that's foolishness. And I know that's what he's delivered me from. But there's some things that still mess with me, that I'm still affected by. Proving that within this flesh suit that I'm wearing, there's still evidence of that sin, which will not fully be cleansed until I'm changed in a moment when the Father says so, according to the word. But because of that, because of the knowledge of myself, knowing what's in me and what my proclivities are, it keeps me saying, I ain't gonna point the finger. Why? Because the finger can easily be pointed at me. A crucial story, and it's a small story that the Savior had to deal with. It was when Mary of Magdalene was thrown in front of him because the leaders of the church, the Pharisees, caught her in the very act of adultery. And they couldn't wait to get the judgment from Yahusha about the girl. And I love the way he carried it, because it's not, he did not even entertain their arguments. It said that while they were still talking and condemning, he just stooped down and started writing in the dirt. Now I studied it, and I wanted to say that he was writing in the dirt their sins, but I think I heard that from Ellen, Auntie Ellen, or something like that. It's not scriptural. At least I haven't read it that he was writing this. It just said he wrote in the dirt, but it didn't say what he wrote. At least I can't find that. So if somebody listening knows what he wrote in the dirt and it's scripturally based, then let me know. But I haven't found it. And after he finished writing in the dirt, he stood and he said, "Let he that is without sin cast the first stone." And one by one they left, starting with the oldest. Notice that the oldest left first. They done lived a while. They're familiar with themselves. They know what their shortcomings are. They know what their sins that so easily beset them, what they should. They know what that is because they're old. Because that's one thing you're going to learn as you progress in this life and get older. You're going to learn what you are and what you ain't. And the more you see it yourself, if you're getting close to Yahuwah, the more you're going to despise it and detest it. But that helps because it keeps you humble. Now, if you see yourself and you don't have nothing to do with Yahuwah, it might go the other direction. Iniquity is found in you. Your pride and vanity wells up. I'm this way. I like to do it like that. Better not nobody tell me nothing otherwise. That type of mind, can't nobody do nothing with you. Because the one thing the Father is not going to do, he doesn't force. Even though he could. Ain't that amazing? The Father could force you to do right, but he doesn't do that. He wants you to choose him. Choose ye this day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to prolong this. Like I said, the Most High's judgment for those he said he would judge, and with the examples that he has in the word, are clear. When pride became such an issue to where those who were given up to the vile affections of their heart amassed themselves, they manifested it up to a level that filled up the cup of their iniquity, and they were ripe for destruction. And that's what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's what will happen to any community that follows suit. Destruction. Sudden. And the Most High says in his word that he gonna laugh at you. You think about why the Father, who we have portrayed as, love and kindness and all this, and like he wouldn't do that. Oh man. But those who are prideful, when the Most High tried to humble you time and time again, tried to let you know, nah, fam, you ain't all that. And you still progress in that area. He's like, man, those people that when the day of their calamity comes, they're going to cry out to me and I'm going to laugh at them. You think I'm lying? This is the word says that he going to laugh. The Elohim of all that, the only help that you could ever get going to laugh at you. Imagine you called 911 talking about there was a murderer in your house and they just start laughing. You're like, yo, somebody broke into my house. They about to kill me. The operator just laughs. And then she's like, hold on. Let me get the police department on the phone. And then they get on the phone and then they start laughing. Like, how would you feel? It's something to consider. And be sure, pride cometh before a fall, and a haughty spirit before calamity. I believe that's the way it's written in here. A haughty spirit before calamity. That's a proverb. Pride cometh before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. That's what it is, not calamity, destruction. My word to those who are listening this week, let your prayer be focused on asking the Most High, what are the areas in your life that you're prideful? Be careful about praying the prayer to humble me, because I've learned my lesson with praying that prayer to Most High. When he humbles, man, just ask him for guidance and to lead you with his spirit to show you where you are in your life, where you are prideful and where you are arrogant, where you don't listen. I'm speaking to myself too, because we all got areas of improvement. And when he shows you these areas, pray earnestly in these areas. Show him that you are serious. Even that, he's going to draw close to that, because he, just like he hates pride, he loves humility. He said, oh, come here. He's like a father. Come here, son. Think about those of you who have children. When your child know they messed up and they coming for you to you for consolation, you can't turn them away. They know they done wrong. And they're remorseful and they're humble. What do? You take them in their arms, you comfort them, you console them, you tell them everything's going to be okay, and you give them another chance. That's what the Father does even when we don't come back to him. Think about the prodigal son. Be that prodigal son this week. Have the thought while you're in your mess, it's like, man, I could be doing better than this. Even the servants in my Father's house have a bed to sleep on and a roof over their head and have air conditioning and heat and have food in their belly. Let me get out of this. Have that thought this week. And then remember that when the son approached his father's house, that the father met him afar off. He ain't wait for him to get to the porch. He ran down the road because he saw him come. He saw a figure, a likeness of him. Ran down there. Return unto the Father this week. That's all I got. This has been real. Oh, let's go ahead and say a word of prayer first. Yeah. Lord, Yah Almighty, thank you for another day. Thank you for the word. Thank you for your grace, your mercy, your long suffering. Remind us of who we are and of who you are, Yah, that we can humbly approach your throne and reconcile ourselves unto you, to repent, renounce all of our wickedness and the stuff that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. You know I'm speaking from my heart right now. Keep us, Father, for we cannot keep ourselves. Do not give us up to uncleanness. Thank you for always hearing and answering prayers and for your acute knowledge of every situation. And it's for this I pray, thanking you for the sacrifice of your son, Yahushua HaMashiach, and in his name I pray this prayer. Amen. This has been Real Talk 101, Devil Exposed on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. Until the next time we meet, may Yah bless and keep you. And always seek truth and not the traditions of men.
The year was 2017. That's when the Most High Yah chose to reveal to me who he is by name. And through further study, I realized his spirit is actually called the Ruach. And this is what the Ruach gave me. Check it.
Nah, there's something trying to get in my soul. My brain is cloudy, I'm feeling like this thing getting old. Too late for excuses, made this bed I'm laying on. Bruises, got scrapes and scars. Forget that money, jewelry, and cars. Take time to think, stay clear of all the clubs and the bars. Cause time running out, before you know the sky will be open. And then when you look, all you gon' see is mountains of smoking. Yeah, it's true, so trust your instincts. Sometimes you gotta chill, lay back and stop and think, cause these streets ain't playing. Slim then again, they play for keeping. You slip up and lose that grip, you guaranteed to end up sleeping 6 feet deep. You on your back, I hope that bag was packed. It's a long trip. If you ain't right, your butt ain't coming back. It's no second chance, no round two, the buck stops here. You shouldn't have listened when you let the devil spit in your ear. What you did, anyone? He told you shoot, you bust that gun. He said take, so you took. You read your butt just like a book. He said run, you started moving out here, cruising for a bruising, guaranteed to end up losing. If you're choosing not to fight, just let y'all elevate our mind, and the end you do is right, straight up. Yeah, let's hear it flow about me. Young knucklehead brother from that D.C. Preserved by Yah through his mercy. And now I'm taking this journey. I got my eyes on eternity. I'm rolling to see how I shot. This here a flow about me. This young knucklehead brother from that D.C. Preserved by Yah through his mercy. And now I'm taking this journey. I got my eyes on eternity. I'm rolling to see how I shot. I started life off weird, to find out from my mom I wasn't supposed to be here. She had an IUD, and just in case you didn't know, when she removed that thing, this little head was supposed to go, but this little soldier held on, and I've been holding ever since on to the truth that has kept me from wholly falling off this fence. He keeps me sane in the midst of nonsense. When my mind starts slipping, bring me back in suggestion to him. His mercy's never ending. Got a story to tell you about this brother from DC, but here to rock this world. And yeah, I'm reppin' Elohim, the same one, OJB. Big old that soldier that held on, still out here trying to find me, singing that same old boring song. I slipped and dipped when I had to, so coke and weed, and still I'm broke. I drank and smoked like a madman. I smoked until I choked, but now you see it's a joke. And trying to get back at me itching. In my mind I be rumbling, but still I'm ending up with stitches. Gotta get it together, cause like I said, he coming back. It's like no matter the weather, we gotta prepare for an attack. Whether we winning or losing, people, we gotta stop boozing. No more sniffing and choking, no more sticking and poking. The spirit is ready and willing, and we both jangling and chillin', making y'all look like a punk while that punk devil is stealing. See, hood proud here to tell you that we're making that move. We going hard with your hollow, so just get with the groove. Sermonic flow is what he gave us, spitting the truth is a blessing. Big O, we came hard in this piece to teach the devil a lesson. And straight up, yeah, the syrup flow about me. Young knucklehead brother from the D.C, preserved by Yah through his mercy, and now I'm taking this journey. I got my eyes on eternity, I'm rolling the sea. Yahweh Shai, the syrup flow about me. Young knucklehead brother from the D.C, preserved by Yah through his mercy, and now I'm taking this journey. I got my eyes on eternity, I'm rolling the sea. Yahweh Shai.